I've always thought of this man as one of my favorite actors, actually. Um, he has a depth that is always seen. It's subtle, it's powerful. He also sings, he dances, he acts, and that voice, wow. My friend Eduardo Bar. Eduardo Bar.
Yay. Hi.
Hello.
So many times my voice is so wonderful. I see my recording and I don't like it.
What do you mean you don't like it?
Oh no. Well, they say that you never like your own recording, your voice. I don't know.
Well, I know. Sometimes I hear my voice and I go, oh, I have to go down deeper.
That's how I sound.
Well, my mom, she was born in Mississippi, so she has a little Southern accent, but I don't hear it. But a lot of people do. And when she listens to herself, too, she says, is that me? So, Buenos Aires, huh?
Yes, Buenos Aires. I'm a city boy, yes. Big city, very noisy, dirty in some places. We lived in the suburbs, like not in the downtown.
Right.
So it's nicer, more like, houses, more like Burbank here, houses, families, laid back. But, still, a few minutes away from the craziness of downtown Buenos Aires.
Yeah. And now, when did you decide that you wanted to get involved in television and movies and all that?
Well, that's interesting. It was really early in my life. I don't know. I was a kid, and I would watch movies, and I would love so much what I've seen and specific scenes in the movie. And then I would go all the way to the back in the house, where nobody sees me or hears me, and I would reenact the scene by myself. I would play both characters. So I don't know. I always was fascinated about that, about being somebody else, about playing somebody else in a different era with different people. So it was fascinating.
And when was the first time that you actually got to jump onto that stage?
It took some time. Because even in school plays, they never picked me because I was a redhead. And everything was like related to the country in some way, and so I wasn't the typical Argentinian. Therefore, I couldn't play any parts ever. So at school, I never did anything really. But then, I don't know, when I was 16, 17, I started taking, acting classes. I started doing theater. And that's when I started, but mainly it was theater.
Right.
I was never able to get it in movies or TV or anything. But, that's how I started in theater.
Right. I'm gonna throw out a name, and I want you to come out with wherever it takes you. Dracula.
Oh, Dracula. Well, it takes me to my one and only.
Your one and only what?
One and only success.
No.
Dracula was a musical that they did in Argentina many, many years ago. There was, back then, the fashion was the Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah.
So all over the world, they were showing the Phantom of the Opera. And there was this guy that wanted to bring the Phantom of the Opera to Buenos Aires, but it was extremely expensive. Back in the day, it was like $4 million to get the rights, and then all the money to make the costumes. And it was like really way out of, their league. So this one very smart guy says, how about I do something just like the Phantom, but we do it here, and it cost only $1 million instead of $4. So the guy said, let's do it. And he picked Dracula. and he did it into a musical. And you know, the format is very Phantom of the Opera,
Right.
but the story is Dracula. And then you know they have these big auditions, hundreds of people auditioning for this, and so you know it took like a month, 2 months probably, going every day, and then they would read the name, not the names, the numbers, who was coming back, and it was like, oh, I'm coming back, oh, God. And I made it, you know. So I was part of the cast,
Yeah.
and ended up at the beginning it was just ensemble, nothing, and then they put me in a role called the Bishop, which was one scene in a cathedral where you know they're trying to deal with Lucy and all what's happening, whatever. So they go and talk to the bishop, and I play the bishop.
Right.
So it was one lovely scene. It was mine. I had to sing my part. But then the rest of it was just ensemble. And it was fun. It was a great. I mean, and to everybody's surprise, it was a gigantic success.
Yeah.
Lots of money for everybody. And we were doing that for quite some time. And then we were touring the country, and we went to Chile. And so, yeah, I've been milking that for a while. And then it got to a point where I thought, well, okay, I keep on doing this forever, or I need to try something new. And I always wanted to come to America, and I thought, well, this is the time.
Yeah.
And I have enough money saved, and I have a friend in LA.
Right.
Just give it a shot, you know. And if it doesn't work, it will be a great vacation, and if not, we'll see. So that's when I jumped. We had a couple of months off, you know, until we restarted with Dracula. I said, okay, I'm going to use it for that.
Now, you said being in not the choir, I'm blank, my brain, my.
Well, the ensemble, you know, like
the ensemble, but isn't it true though, as they say, there are no small parts?
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Oh, and believe me, I was seen. I was the redhead. And also, even though I didn't have any at the beginning, no lines, but people would come to me to have my autograph. Anyway, I played a villager, you know, for Transylvania. Yeah. I played a priest first. I was just a plain priest.
Mm-hmm.
I played a gypsy in the musical number. What else? And then I did something else. Oh, I did a beggar in the second act. I was playing a beggar.
Right.
So you know, I would change my look and you know whatever, and I would like do what I needed to do.
Yeah.
But people would always spot me because I was the redhead.
Right.
And you know they used to call me, oh, the Polish. Oh, you Polaco, come here. You know. Which I'm not, but you know.
Well, I think it's also, beside being a redhead, you lit up the room. You have a personality, yes. And you have the acting chops, whether you say a line or not. You have that yes. Charisma.
I have that charisma, and you know what is funny, because I had that charisma here, and I don't know the name of the lady. I forgot, Jessica, I think, whatever. I was doing Curb Your Enthusiasm or Arrested Development, one of those. I don't know, one of those. Anyway. Yeah. It was a cocktail party thing, and we are, you know, this living room, whatever, there's a bar. And when they set up the extras, I was one of the extras. Yeah. They give me a glass of whatever. And they said, please, sir, come here and stand by the bar, which I did.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the main character, the main lady, had to go to the bar and get her drink, whatever. And so we did it once. And I'm not doing anything. I'm on the side with my glass, you know. And then, you know, she talked to the director, and then the director talked to the assistant. The assistant came to me and says, I'm sorry, sir, but, you know, she's uncomfortable with you there. You catch too much attention. So we're going to move you.
Right. Everybody was looking at you because of your magnetism.
I was just doing nothing with a glass of wine or whatever they gave me. But it was catching, you know, the spotlight from her. Which, yeah, whatever. I went there to be an extra, not to be a star. So I didn't mind being in the back of the whatever where they put me.
They put you. But it's interesting how the camera picks you up, the people watching you. Now you guest starred in some TV soaps in your own home country, correct?
Yes, I did a couple of soap operas. I was a guest star. Yes, I played the boyfriend of some whatever, and yes. Small things that didn't take me anywhere. And
Well, how is it to be on a soap opera?
well, it's like a sausage factory. But time is money. So they don't rehearse. They don't, they don't even care if you know your lines. You just improvise, whatever. We have to keep on moving from scene to scene to scene. And so yeah, just go in, blah, 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 blah. Then, thank you. Let's move on. I mean, there's not even.
And that's how they did it in your home country.
Yes, that's Argentina.
Now, how old when you came to America?
What happened?
How old were you? About?
I was 27.
Ah, okay.
I was already 27. I wasn't a kid. I've been around. And I think and that's the thing. I needed that time to build myself as a person, not only as an actor, but as a person, to be able to, I came by myself. I knew only one guy.
Right.
We met doing a movie years before. And with my suitcase, money in my pocket, and that's it. Right. So it was quite an adventure for me. It was the first time I went to a country where it wasn't, Spanish-speaking people. Yeah. So even though I knew English before, I went to school and learning, but it's not the same talking with your, fellow students in a class or with your teacher than being real life with people that have different ways of expressing themselves. So like, what? And the same with me. I used to, have a thick accent. Now I still have it, but it's like, I hope it's not as thick. But
beautiful. It's interesting too that you say, you didn't get here till 27. I didn't get here till I was 30.
Well, there you go. Well, I think around 30, that's when you're really a person that can make decisions. Before you're just whatever, guessing.
You're a fetus.
So
I was a fetus beforehand. But, the other thing is I wanted to spend the time with my dad, And, he had just, I won't go into that, but I just needed some time with the family before I finally said, okay, I'm going to go ahead for my dream.
Sure. And you know what? I strongly believe in destiny. It will happen when you're ready for it.
Right.
And when that's the next step. Because sometimes you think, well, that's my next step. And actually it's not. And then you try, and it's not happening because it's not meant to happen. And, I came to terms with the acting and not happening. Thinking of that, I'm like, what if I'm not supposed to be doing that? Yeah. What if my lesson is to learn rejection? What if that's my lesson? Well, I need to be okay with it.
Well, I mean, and in this community too, rejection is more than 50% of the time for all of us.
Absolutely. I mean, in every type of interaction, you will have, rejection at some point. Right. Not everybody likes you. Not everybody wants to be with you. Not everybody's going to be willing to help you in any way. So.
And it's learning to go through the rejection and finding out what is it actually, what am I learning from this? I always look at that too, because I listen, I am so, and I've mentioned this on the last couple of interviews, I'm sort of realizing it. I'm learning as I'm going along through these interviews that, I'm at joy with where I'm at now. I'm teaching. I'm not acting like I thought I would be. I'm not on the silver screen like I thought I would be, but what I'm doing is so much more satisfying in my life.
Yeah, I truly agree. And that's the thing, sometimes because we're so attached to that dream, we feel that frustration and that like, if I push harder, if I go more places, if I take more classes, and actually, I did all that and I realized it's still not taking me. So then there has to be something else. And the truth is, like, when you come to terms with it, you find your real place.
Yes.
And that doesn't mean that maybe one day you'll be in a big movie, whatever. But now you're okay with where you are and you're okay with yourself. And every time we've been pushed around, all it does is to strengthen your grounding. No matter what happens to me, I'm still standing, I've been through sickness, I've been through blindness, I've been through rejection, I've been through so much shit, and yet I'm still me, I'm still strong, I still have the same beliefs, same values, you know, and that's what actually is everlasting.
Yeah.
Things come and go, people come and go, movies come and go, you know, fame come and go. I mean, it's funny, you know, if you think of big stars, let's say Sophia Loren, which I love.
Mm.
Huge star, gigantic star.
Yeah.
And now you ask somebody, Sophia Loren, they don't even know who, what, who? You know what I mean? So it comes and goes. That's life.
Yeah.
So you have to be okay with what you're doing today, because that's all you have today. You know?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to really embrace, that today, you know.
Right.
Every spiritual book I read, every spiritual teacher I listen to, it's emphasizing that.
So you do a lot of that.
Life is now, you know. Our minds, our egos try to let go to the back, to the past, and think, oh, what did I do? Oh, he hurt me, or he helped, whatever. Or go to the future. Oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. How about today? What are you doing today?
Right. Right.
And that's hard.
What has been the biggest challenge in your life that you have gotten through?
Well, and that's a funny thing. To me, looking at it, it looks like a challenge, but for me, it was never a challenge. When I lost my sight, you know, I got very sick. I go to the hospital. 3 months later, I was about to die. I didn't die. And I left the hospital totally blind. But I was never panicking. Don't ask me why. I mean, I know why. In my heart, I knew it was a process. I knew I was going to get better. Even now, I'm still legally blind. My vision is very blurry. From totally blind to what I see now, wow, it is a miracle. And that journey made the person I'm today, you know?
Yeah.
But it was second nature. I never thought of that like being the problem. It was something else, like Eduardo has red hair, like no hair now. Eduardo has a goatee. Eduardo is from Argentina. Eduardo is visually impaired. It was something else. It was never the big challenge. And yet, if I have to be objective and look at it, like, well, yeah, that was a huge, you know, thing to overcome.
Yeah.
And somehow I kept on going. You know, I don't know.
What does spirituality mean to you?
Spirituality is to be at peace with yourself, with reality, even when it's such a crazy world. It gives you the sense of like, well, this is not it. We're more than this. There is more than this. Let's say the spirituality is the actor, and what we're doing here is the characters. And the movie and the script is not real. We're just playing it to tell a story. In your life, you're playing it to experience a life, but in reality, we're more than just this Eduardo that cannot see very well. And that's the one that is experiencing this, is that consciousness that we're all part of, but at this moment, my consciousness is going through this window, you know, Eduardo, and this character, and these situations.
Right.
Spirituality means learning about who I really am, not being panicky about what's happening, because I know it's just happening for learning experiences. It's not really real. So yeah, for me, spirituality is like get in touch with that, which is eternal, which is wise, which is perfect, which is curious, and that's why we're here experiencing all this.
Right.
And it can be anything. It can be, you know, if religion gives you that window to your soul, or if lectures of reading or meditate, whatever works for you to open that window, and instead of looking out, looking in. And my big a stopper was my eyesight, because I was always looking out, looking for the solutions out there, and the salvation was out there. And when I went blind, I was like, shh, and all of a sudden, all your friends disappear. Everybody disappeared. So I was blind and alone.
Mm.
And I had no choice but to start looking to me, looking inwards. And that's when the big spiritual work started.
Right.
When I had no distractions, and I thought, okay, let's start looking in, see what I find. And it was like a billion times better than what I thought I would be finding outside.
Right.
Still, you have to live in this world, and still it is annoying and mean and unfair, and you still feel it.
Yeah.
But you have a detachment that you're able to like suffer it for 2 minutes, cry for 5 minutes, and then wash your face and know that there's more to it, and keep on going.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I've been exercising that spiritual muscle all this year. I've been blind, I don't know how many, 22 years.
Right. Yeah. Now, after you got to LA when you were 27.
Yes.
So when did this all happen?
I went blind at 31.
At 31. So
I was 31 when I went blind.
About 4 years later.
It gave me the chance to see America.
Yeah.
I went to San Francisco, I went to Vegas. I mean, I've seen everything. I went everywhere in LA, and then it went down. And now I'm like, I can see it and I know it through the fog. I know what's there. It was interesting last summer that my nieces came to visit. So yeah. I had a chance to give them the grand tour of LA, and we even went to Vegas. And it was nice to experience it again, through a fog, but still it's there, it's tangible.
And plus, it's the experience of being with your nieces.
Absolutely, and see it through them, through their experience. Because to me, oh yeah, that's Hollywood Boulevard, and I've been there many times. But to them, it's like, oh, it's Hollywood Boulevard, that excitement, so it was nice. It was invigorating. It was really refreshing.
Talking about spirituality, I mean, I always feel that this is sort of connected, or can be connected, is singing, because I know what a beautiful singing voice you have. How long has that been going on?
Well, that was, since I was a kid, I was singing all the time in my house or whatever. And then at school, I was the singer or whatever. And then I took classes, when I was 16, 17. I did acting, I did dancing classes, and I did singing classes. And my singing teacher was like, what, you need to, like in anything, you need to go to the classical to really know your instrument, and then you can sing whatever you want to sing. So I was doing arias of opera and stuff like that didn't stick to me, but it was good as a training, field. And then that was it. And then I started singing in a chorus for a while, right. And then I came here, and that stopped.
Right.
And actually, I picked it up again at the Braille Institute. I went there because I had a computer, I had a program to make it large, whatever, but I had no idea how to make it work. So I go to the Braille Institute and I enrolled in a class for computers, so the guy would teach me how to make it work. And I was waiting for something, I don't even know what, and one of the ladies saying, oh yeah, no, the singing class is at 3:00. So I went to her, I was like, do you have singing here? Oh yeah, do you want to join that? I was like, sure.
Yeah.
So, that's how I got into the class. And then at the end of the class, the guy says, do you have a song you would like to sing? And I think I sang All the Way or something like that. Oh, I can play. So he played All the Way, and I sang. They're like, oh my God, you're great. Would you like to sing? And so that's how I started singing with the Braille Institute, in the chorus and in the band. Now I'm just in the band. And now we're not doing anything, of course, because we cannot go anywhere.
Right. We're all...
But that's how I got reacquainted with the singing. And then they would ask me, we need, a fundraiser, there's this festival, whatever. And I would get together with Peggy that played piano for me, and we would do a full, 1 hour concert, 14, 15 songs. And that's how I got back in that groove, which I really love, actually. It's a wonderful way of expressing yourself.
Yeah.
That's why, I need to like the lyrics of what I'm singing. Sometimes I bring the songs like, oh, would you sing this? And I listen to them now. I don't want to spread that message. I don't like it. I need to feel it,
I could seriously see you doing your own one-man show. I mean, acting.
It's funny. Yeah, it was my fantasy many years ago. I don't even know how many. I don't know if you remember, there was this theater, small theater called El Portal on Lancashire.
Yeah.
And the one that was there was B. Arthur.
Yes.
He did a show there. And I went with a friend to see her. And that's what she was doing. Just telling her life, a song here and there. And that's what, oh my God, I can do that. I have things to say, and I can, pick the right songs for whatever I'm talking about. And that was it. It was the idea. I never worked on it.
Well, we're in quarantine. It's time to work on your one-man show.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
What? No. What is your joy?
My joy. Watch a nice movie. Watch a show that is well written.
Yeah.
And I think, oh, wow, that's a great line, or that's, yes, that, to be moved by good writing, a movie with good writing, or a TV show with good writing. I just finished on Netflix episodes. I don't know if you saw that.
No.
And it's mainly about the business.
Yeah.
And it's so honest, so well written, so well played. It was a joy to watch that. Yes.
Have you ever thought of becoming a writer?
Well, yes, at some point I did. I started a book. I have one chapter. I wrote a screenplay.
Yeah.
It's called Positive Love. I gave it to a couple of friends. They loved it. I started conversations with some producers. They liked it very much. They were doing other projects at the time. And then it just dissipated, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't keep pushing. Nobody kept interest, and so I have that script. It's cool. It's cute.
Well, it's interesting too that you say that, because My Next Breath, the project that I've been working on for I don't know how many years, and it's set down for a while. I walk away, I do something else, I come back to it, or it's in other hands, and I say, come on, give me the stuff. So, and I'm still doing it. There's not a day that goes by that I don't think about that. But I tell you, I'm not finished with it. It's going to come out, and I hear about your script, and I hear about your one chapter and this and that, and it's I found out. Maybe I'm talking too much right now, but I found out, especially during this quarantine, people have told me actually for a long time, why don't you put some Meet the Biz online so we could see it online? Well, we had to now. Yeah. So I have done 100, as of this moment, I think 175 interviews within 7 months. So it made me realize that, oh, this is the next step. Like you were saying, taking that next step.
Yes. Because you never know where you're going to end up. Everything is preparation for that, big thing that we'll, end up doing. And that big thing will not be it. It will be one big thing for something else. And destiny is very twisted and weird. Who knows? Maybe in 10 years, somebody talks to like, oh, let me see it, and they love it, and now is the time. Not now, but 10 years, you never know. Or it was just practice for you to deal with us.
Yeah.
to deal with production, with putting it together, with, you know, it was a big thing back then, you know, with the lights and the plays and the catering and the, you know, what are we going to be talking about, and preparing the line out of each shoot,
Yeah.
and, you know, the directing it. So I was, you know, very well training, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's all it was, training for all of us, you know, for something else. Who knows, really? I mean, I always say, you know, I'm still legally blind, and I still, you know, at the end of the day, I don't see shit. But, but I do believe in my heart that I will be driving again. I will keep on getting my sight back, and I will be driving a car again, because that's the one thing I miss the most, being able to drive a car. It may sound like a delusion right now, but in my heart, I think it's going to happen. Like, you know, when I left the hospital, the doctor said, you're going to be blind forever. Optic nerves don't regrow. And in my heart, I knew I was going to get better. And I told my brother, you know what, don't despair. I'm going to see again. I promise I'm going to see again. And back then was, you know, a poor delusional guy, desperate, you know, wishful thinking. And years later, you know, I can see, you know, the table that, you know, it's foggy,
Yeah.
but I can see. And I surprised myself seeing better. Like, you know, I have my phone and it talks, right? And if I need to see something, I have to put it under a magnifier to see the screen. But the other day, I wanted to do a quick text. And I put, you know, I dictated, blah, blah, blah. And then I wanted to put an emoji. And I put the emoji, and I think that's the guy with the hand. I was able to see, and I touched, yeah, guy raising one hand, like, I saw it.
Yeah.
I mean, I cannot see all the details, but before it would be dots. Now I can see that one guy. So I know it is still getting better.
Yeah.
One cell at a time. But my optic nerve is regrowing. So who knows, one day, maybe. And as of now, well, this is what I have, and I learned to deal with it. And you learn to accept it and deal with it and make the best out of this. And keep on going. You never know what's going to happen next, really. It can be horrendous or it can be fabulous. Believe me, when I got sick, it wasn't in my plans to, you know, end up dying in a hospital with meningitis and going blind. But I did. It was part of the deal. It was one of the steps. And who knows what's the next step, you know, because afterwards it was like better and better and better and better and better. I never got this like, oh my God, no, it was always for better.
Yeah.
Tiny little steps for better. So we'll see. Sometimes you need to shake it to get all the bad stuff, go to the surface. So you see, oh, not this, not that, you know, clear the water a bit. But you need to shake it for all the crap to, you know, float up. And I think, you know, that happens with you as a person, and it's happened with America as a society, you know, as a country. All this stuff that is coming up to the surface, and we cannot deny it anymore. It's like slapping us in the face. It's for us to see, like, oh, do we want to keep on going like this? What are we going to do to move this, leave it behind? So evolution is like that. Everything needs, you know, a bit of a shake, you know, to like react and see what you do. So we're living in very interesting times.
Yes, we are. And I, again, you know, I said it at the beginning, and when I said it, I truly meant it. I think you are one of the best actors out there. And you don't work like Robert De Niro or, you know, this person, that person. You don't work all the time. But when you work and when you are just being,
yes,
you bring a light to a lot of people. And I just wanted to let you know that.
Nice, thank you. And to be honest, I have to thank my blindness, because I realized I became a better actor when I lost my sight, because I need to connect at a deeper level with my scene partner. It's not just looking at you and throwing the lines. I need to really connect in a way that even though I look at your face and I don't see this blur, I still connect. So I think that brought the better acting, one. And two, I came to this understanding, being good looking, being a good actor, being blah, 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 doesn't mean that you need to be a star or recognized, You can see that all over the place. There's people that are not talented, that are not that great looking, and they're famous, they're big stars. So obviously the formula doesn't need, being good actor. It is what your soul came to experience.
Yeah.
And that's what I realized. Okay, obviously, as of now, that's not the experience I'm supposed to be going through. So then let it be. That doesn't mean let it go and forget about it. No, it's still in the back of my head. Believe me, if somebody calls me for a little part, I will go. Many times when you used to cast, and there's what I'm there. I'm learning the lines, and of course. But out of I'm here and I'm available, not out of desperation, knocking every door, calling everybody. No, that desperation, I realized, because I did it, doesn't take you anywhere. But being receptive and open, yes, I am receptive and I'm open. So it will be what it will be in the end, really. Our ego is very hurt because we need to know and we need to make it happen. But then life tells you otherwise. And if you don't come to terms with that, you're going to lead a very miserable, horrible, painful life. Because most of the time you don't get away with what you want. You don't get what you want. It's, or you get it, but it's different than what you envisioned. And it's different than what you expected. Or it's exactly as you expected, and then it's not giving you the satisfaction you thought it would give you. So that's why you have to let it be. There's a line in the Course in Miracles says, you think you know what you want and you think you know what you need. Well, you don't. And it's true, we don't. We think we know, but we really don't. So anyway, and the only way that you can let it flow is if you go inside and, there's more to life and there's more to me than just this outside situation, this outside, people, things, money, career. There's more, and it's all in you, in your heart. Looking there. So that is my journey. And it will take me where it needs to take me. And as I said, when we got together with everybody, I'm having a very simple life. There's nothing fancy, and I'm happy. Believe me. I mean, I watch a nice movie. I'm so joyful, oh God, that was great writing. I hope they're all very successful because they're really good. I'm watching Lucifer, which was a show that was on.
Oh yeah.
The guy is so hot.
Yes.
Maybe that's why I'm watching it. But he's such a good actor. He nails that character so well. So it's not just the looks, it's his acting and his attitude and his aura. And every time I see him do something really, oh my God, I hope you have a partner, woman, man, whatever you like, that is there for you and you're happy and that you make lots of money, you become a big celebrity because you're great. And that's the detachment and the wishing well for others, that when you wanted to make it yourself, that will be competition, that will be my enemy instead of my friend, you know what I mean? So I'm wishing well, to good people, to good actors, to you. I wish you, I hope, because you're a great host. You have great input and you have great questions always.
Thank you.
And you're really good at this. Maybe you're the next Oprah. Who knows?
Who knows? Maybe they'll need me as an assistant host on the Tonight Show.
That's the thing. Life is so bizarre. You never know, really. You never ever know. So meanwhile, we get things in front of us, and okay, what do I do with this? Yeah. Now you have this opportunity. Well, what do I do with this? Well, let's do interviews and put it out there, and good for you. Wish you the best. And before I watched a few of the other. They're great. They're wonderful. And again, not just the person saying what they need to say, it's how you let it flow. You have a great ability in that. And it was the same when you're teaching. You know the few words you need to say, but you don't say more than that. You know how to let it flow. And that's what is interesting in an interview. You know, just to give that little thing for the thing to flow, for the guest to like really open up and flow. And you're really great at it. I really admire you. That is quite a talent.
Thank you. Thank you for uplifting me.
So,
thank you for that. And thank you for uplifting everyone.
Yeah.
You know.
Thank you for letting, you know, my experience, because that's the thing. I can have great experience, and I know it. I mean, the way to grow is to share. Yeah. I can share with my friends, but this media you're giving me the opportunity to share, it will, you know, be out there for more people. So thank you. Thank you.
Is that your birdie?
That's my, you know, usually he's here, but he's so fucking loud. I thought, well, the only thing I need is when we're talking, the bitch starts screaming. So I put him in the bathroom, and he's like, I'm here, don't forget me.
I love it.
So, you know, the good thing is through the interview, he was quiet, so it's fine. Yeah, well, you know, that's the thing. You know, you never know. If you think of us meeting, if you go back to the origin of it, the origin was media access.
Yeah.
And media access was, you know, literally like 3 blocks away from where I was living when I was in North Hollywood, before I moved to Calgary.
I remember.
And I you know what? I wasn't pursuing anything whatsoever, but I was drowning because I didn't get my green card back then. So I was disabled, but they would not give me a penny because, you know, I had a work permit. So no benefits, blah, blah, blah. So I had to do something. And I thought, well, maybe I can be a translator or something like that. Because translating, you speak and I just say it.
Yeah.
I don't need to see anything. So I forgot where I went. And the lady said, well, you know, that's not easy because, you know, there's a lot of people doing that and blah, 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 blah. And what else do you do? And I said, well, I act, I sing, and I dance, but that's not going to help. And she said, well, you might be wrong. And I said, what do you mean? And she told me about media access.
Wow.
She gave me the telephone to call Gloria. And I thought, well, I don't know what they're going to be offering, but let's do it.
Yeah.
So when I'm home, I call Gloria. She says, well, come over. Where are you? And then like, oh my God, you're 3 blocks from my place. I was able to fucking walk there. And that's when I started like taking classes. And again, you know, one of the classes before you was, I forgot her name. Kobuko was Christina.
Oh, Christina, yes.
She was lovely. Yeah. But she said, you know, Eduardo, you're so good. And you can at least do an extra work or something like that. You need to be on a set. If you were able to get up from your place and come to this class today, you can do the same and go to a fucking studio and do a movie. And I thought, oh, God, she's right. And that's when I signed up with, you know, casting, whatever shit, you know, and I started doing the extra work.
Yeah.
And then, you know, Gloria said, oh, there's this guy, he has a class. And I took the class with you. But look at the, you know, what were the chances? You know, and that shows you what one thing, my idea was to be a translator, but that took me to media access.
Yeah.
And that took me to the class, and that took me to you. And then we did My Next Breath, and now we're doing this interview. See, it's fascinating.
Yeah.
But what's meant to be is. There's no denying it. There's no delaying it. It's at the right time, at the right place.